everybody. Greetings from J.C. Collins Entertainment Network. In these winter months up here in New England, when the weather is cold, everybody has cabin fever, and there's not a hell of a lot to do. Unless, of course, that is you are a snow enthusiast, which I gave up that inspiration a long time ago. So to fight my cabin fever through the long winter months, I make videos. And my goal is to make videos of the entertainment variety. So I introduce to you my new show. It's called The Story Man, and this is the Carter Experience. Now, this is a true story that happened in January of 1988. I was living in Epping, New Hampshire at that time, in a rooming house with an ex-significant other. My friend Tom and I decided to take a spontaneous, sporadic overnight hiking trip through Carter Notch, which is located on the northern side of Wildcat Mountain, right near Mount Washington. The state of New Hampshire had just received a significant snowfall the day before. We decided to call the AMC Club, the American Mountaineering Club, for some last-minute extreme weather advice. Tom had been a member for some time, so he made the phone call. The AMC Club had told Tom that because of the recent snowfall, we advise against it. But if you do decide to make the hike, make sure to bring snowshoes and good winter gear. Well, in 1988, I was a lot younger, stronger, faster, and stupider. We said to heck with it, we're going anyway. So we grabbed our packs, threw them in the back of Tom's truck, and headed. Along the way, we stopped in the little town of Tilton, New Hampshire for some bare essentials. Tom got a fifth of Yukon Jack, and I got a six-pack of beer. After inspecting our backpacks at the store, we realized that we had forgotten the real essentials, in fact, most of them. But we pushed on. We had come too far to turn around and head back home. We did have sleeping bags, extra clothes, flashlight, and matches. I had a good winter coat, nice pair of boots, thermals, and gaiters. Gaiters go over the top of your boot and then up over your leg, keeping your legs dry. So I was pretty well equipped for the winter weather. And we did have our extreme weather survival kit, the booze. Now, as I have said, Tom was a member of the American Mountaineering Club, so he was basically the guide. The plan was to take a 2-hour hike through Carter Notch, spend the night at the AMC hut, and then finish the hike the next day. We got to the parking lot at the trailhead around 2 p.m. Tom said we'd be fine. He said the AMC hut was only a short 2-hour hike, and we should arrive at the hut as the sun was setting. What Tom didn't count on was the snow. The AMC Club was absolutely right about bringing snowshoes. The snow was deep. It had to have been at least 28 inches in some spots. The trail was extremely treacherous. It seemed every other step you'd sink up to your kneecaps. The AMC hut is approximately 2.3 miles from the parking lot at the trailhead. Now you have to remember, winter daylight hours are a lot different than summer daylight hours, shorter. So starting a hike of this magnitude at 2 p.m. didn't leave much of a window. But I figured Tom, being an avid mountaineer, a highly respected member of the American Mountaineering Club, and my guide, would be okay. What I didn't figure on was Tom starting the hike with a couple shots of whiskey and then one every half hour on the hour. Carter Notch is a very long trail with a maze of side trails going off in different directions, leading who knows where. And it is very important to stay on the main trail. As I have said, the terrain was extreme. At some points, the snow was so thick that it was hard to tell the side trails from the main trail. Needless to say, Tom started getting hammered, incoherent, and finally lost. By the time it became apparent that we were totally screwed, it was around 9 p.m. It was totally dark. I mean, it was darker than midnight in a mine shaft. And I knew we were lost when the hike became an extremely steep incline. And looking around at my surroundings, there was no tree line. We were almost at the peak on the backside of Wildcat Mountain. Tom was so drunk at that point he didn't even know he was hiking. Well, I decided to turn around and head back down. Tom was stumbling all over, babbling total nonsense. I had to slap him in the face several times just to keep him moving. Finally, Tom fell to one knee, unable to go on. I knew at that point we were screwed. I knew then I had to get help. But we were a good 3 to 5 miles deep in the White Mountains, on a trail I'd never been on. Totally dark. But I did have a flashlight. I told myself I'm either going to make it out of these mountains or die trying. So I took my backpack off and laid my sleeping bag on the trail. Then I put Tom inside his sleeping bag and then laid him on top of my sleeping bag. I started down the mountain trail around 9:30 p.m., flashlight in hand. I remember running through the dark, my life passing me by. I'd never been that close to God in my life, but I started praying. I really thought this is the end. I'm going to die tonight. So I just kept running, sweating from the adrenaline rush. I wasn't even cold in the 40-degree below zero winter air. Then I saw a light off in the distance. And as I drew closer to the light, my fear faded, a huge weight lifted. For that light was that of the parking lot. I made it out of the wilderness. I remember starting to cry. I remember the relief. I remember running for the truck. I remember I forgot to check Tom's pockets and backpack for the truck keys. I started checking my pockets. I started panicking. Luckily, there was a hide-a-key box up under the front fender of the truck. I found my way to the emergency AMC hut, drew them a map to where Tom was. They rescued him, said I was a hero, threw Tom out of the AMC club. And that ended that adventure. My point is this: don't plan an extreme adventure that could possibly take your life and mix it with drinking. And that, my friends, is the Carter Experience. Until next time, this is JC Collins, Entertainment Network, saying we'll see you real soon.